the problems it has. The problems that we have with violence, the problems that we have with our young men not graduating from our schools, problems that we have with the police. What are some of the things that we can learn tonight? So I hope you'll listen to Dr. LaFayette tonight with that mind of how can we take his words and make our community a better place. Please help me welcome Dr. LaFayette.
Thank you very much, Kip Rogers and Dr. Huggers, and to the audience here this evening. I am so thrilled to have this opportunity to be with you and to share with you. This has been a most hospitable and very warm reception since I've been here. I could hardly pay any attention to the snow. There's something that's more important than the weather. And it's whether you feel at home or not. And Rochester has made me feel at home. And being with you tonight is one of those experiences that I will never forget, like the experience I had when I was here 50 years ago with the so-called riots. I was here. And I had the opportunity to learn something about at least one aspect of the community. The gangs. And I rarely talk about this, but I feel so moved tonight to share with you that I used to be a gang leader in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Some of you remember when Leon Sullivan had the boycott in Philadelphia. Tasty bread and tasty cakes and tasty pies. And those pies were our favorite for the little boys my age. But we heard about this boycott. We thought they were talking about us. And we went underground for a whole week. Sent out our spies to learn more about this boycott. And when we discovered that that boycott had to do with the fact that many of our parents and relatives of color could not work at tasty bread and tasty cake because we were not qualified. And the question was, what were we going to do? Continue to support a system that denied us the opportunity, our parents, the opportunity to have to work for a living wage. Once we understood, even at the age of 9 and 10 years old, we decided that if we were going to be denied the opportunity to work and earn a livable wage, then we were going to deny ourselves the opportunity to eat tasty cake and tasty pie. So we had to decide as little boys that we were not just simply going to stand by and refuse to buy tasty bread and tasty cakes. But we decided that if we could not any longer eat the tasty cakes and tasty pies, then nobody in our community was gonna buy tasty bread and tasty cake. I was part of the boycott. And we made sure that nobody else bought any tasty bread or tasty cake. I was not trained in nonviolence then. I do not discuss the details because I don't know the statute of limitations. But being a part of the gangs at an early age helped me to understand what was happening here in Rochester. In fact, it was Dr. King that insisted that I would join his staff. I was in Chicago working with the American Friends Service Committee as director of the Urban Affairs Program. And Dr. King wanted me to join his staff, come to Rochester with the other 6 members, including Andrew Young, and see what we can do to help deal with the conflict and violence that was occurring at that time. So, Rochester feels comfortable for me because I remember Rochester 50 years ago. And it's good to be back in Rochester again and again. I'm told that Rochester is facing some of the same problems today that we faced in the Upper South many years ago. The irony of the whole thing is that it seems that progress has been made. When we see the mayor, when we see the other fixtures. But then when we look at the statistics of the schools, we see the disparity, we see the differences. What has happened? Where is the progress? Is this what we fought for 50 years ago? Affirmative action, bill, amendment to the public accommodations bill? Is this what we fought for? Where are we today? Well, we're going to have a little discussion because that's all we have time for, a little discussion. Now I want to clarify one thing from the beginning. Because during the introduction, you understood that I was a Baptist preacher. But I want to quickly tell you that I was president of the American Baptist College in Nashville, and that's true. I was a student, graduated, same school that C.T. Vivian, Dr. C.T. Vivian, who got the Presidential Medal, and John Lewis, congressman from Atlanta. We all went to the same school at the same time. Diane Nash was over at Fisk University. And I later went to Fisk. So I'm a Fiskite, and an ABCite, and a Harvardite. And I also went to BU Law School for a year, only for a year, because I needed to learn how to think like a lawyer. In the first year, they teach you how to think like a lawyer, and then the other 2 years, they teach you how to be a lawyer. But I had lots of friends who were lawyers. So I knew I was in good hands. But I want to go on to say that when we look at the progress that we have made, and then we re-examine in a particular way, we have to ask ourselves, what changes have we made?